about getting those kills because the circle is so chaotic that you can't necessarily outthink it. But at the same time, when everyone else is just fragging out, it could be the outthinking that puts it in their favor, which is perhaps why Ghost has been successful on Sanhok yesterday. But we're going to see what happens this time around as we enter our third map. It's the second day of Sanhok. Hopefully some teams went back, went to the VOD review, and figured out some new options for themselves.
On the way down, it's a relatively western plane path. And now, in talking to many of the teams on the floor, everyone has kind of determined that once you have water in play with the phase 3 and 6, that's when water shrinks out of the circle. So if we're on that northwestern island and there's any water around that phase 3, normally you can expect it's going to land around that hot tin south area that we saw yesterday. But towards the east, things get a little bit more interesting as there's much more landmass, less chance of water. And the loot system here in Sanhok, while close to public play, leads to a lot of attachments being wanting for teams. Not a lot of grips. Sometimes they don't find any other additional attachments. So there are other factors, Cameron, the teams have to deal with that they might not on Erangel and Sanhok.
Ooh, this circle, though. I think we're going to see Sonics immediately make a break for the top of that hill. We talked about how they were there so early yesterday, and looking at their loot position, basically around the fork in that river, puts them in a good position to grab there first if Wildcard and E-United don't want to race for it. All the other teams, though, they're possibly going to be looking for early kills, and Headshore, he's actually going to take the lesser end of that, but a teammate is there to assist. And there's going to be no revive for Walt Jr., but luckily he did get the finish on Headshore, so that's at least 1 point for himself, and is a full trade between these two squads.
Headshore's not happy about that. Vector versus AK, the fire rate normally wins, but we are on the LAN client. No packets in play here as straight up, it looks like the damage did get the upper hand, but Baja is going to be sticking with the Vector himself. This is a question I had, is how often are we going to see SMGs on this map? The Vector extremely powerful now. It has additional body shot multipliers. It does about 130%, I believe, extra damage to the limbs. And with the high fire rate of the Vector, that is going to be a major factor against players who are prone or someone you catch off guard. But this circle, Cameron, you know what? I'm going to guess right now. This thing is going to end southwest of Hot Tin, as we have lots of circle in the northern side in the water, and if it shifts at all and shrinks, it's going to be pushing us towards right around where Wildcard and E-United are. So that's my guess this time around, as now just no real estate, Cam.
Yeah, there's a lot of water in play here. I think it's maybe 45% land, even less if you take out
the river as well.
If you take out the small section of the main island that's still in the circle, I can't imagine it's going to be in play for too much longer. But another engagement very early on. Tickleton tried to go for the top of the mountain early, but Taylor J beat him there, and that was immediately flushed as well. Wooly, though, here at backup.
I don't think Wooly wants to press on this. Maybe he does. He wants to avenge. But Taylor J is going to get the med, no visual information for Wooly, and Tiggleton walked up by himself. And that's the difference between being 5 feet and 10 feet behind your partner, is you just don't have any ability to trade. And now Taylor might be able to pick up 2 Sonics players if he plays this right.
Ooh, Balefrost is just to the north, and the rest of E-United are joining in as well. So if Wooly wants his engagement, he needs to act quickly, and his teammates need to arrive fast as well. They have their own vehicle to come up, but Wooly not able to spot out Taylor J, just going to be perhaps falling away, and he hears the vehicles of the rest of E-United, and so they recognize that they were just too late to this position, and they need to back off. Good high ground position by Shiru to watch out.
Yeah, Wooly's going to want to back this off.
Wooly.
This is the smart choice for Sonics, not wanting to press this action because Shiru's got the high side cover. Maybe Wooly saw that. Oh, Tony V saw stab, and he's going to want to call that out. Be very wary of those rocks. Car 98 out. Oh, the quick shot. Just wide. Stab forced off the ridge line.
That at least puts pressure, and it does remind E-United that they can get seen from that spot. But I can still easily see E-United go really heavy onto this position. They're just going to be taking the rocks just on the north side and actually watching the east. Could be spotting Tempo Storm arrive on this position. We saw this yesterday when Sonics had that spot. High ground is king on this island.
What do you think about E-United coming out of Hot Tin, leaving it for Endemic? They've come all the way south towards where Sonics like to play. At least we've seen them play in the past, yesterday specifically.
I think you can get more kills on the high ground, even if the circle does eventually pull away from it. It's the better what is like the EV plus minus? What's this sort of statistical and nomenclature that we can talk about?
What?
Get the kills. You are more likely to get kills and thus more points from the top of the mountain. Placement points are even more unreliable on Sanhok than any other map. And so going aggressive, trying to get those points, trying to get that pressure out on the map is a stronger play in my opinion.
So last time we saw this circle, the Rumblers ended up all drowning. Getting held out. I believe it was
Space Station.
Actually, it might have been Space Station. Envy is in that position now. SSG and Ghost all the way south with low key. And now Ghost game plan these southeastern circles, but trying to get north and west from where they are is going to be hard. And Sonics just can't find a place to call home. Willie's going to get picked off and finished. And now it's going to be Keenan and Tony V, no kills and no space to breathe as Sonics continue to get peppered. This is now coming from Camp Alpha.
We have to wonder, did Sonics have any plan B in mind? Because now that they were beaten to the top of that hill, they have nowhere to go. They're getting decimated by everyone else. They're just driving through willy-nilly, just trying to get center. But there's no cover on the side of that hill. It's just one player left. I believe that's...
He's going to have to prone somewhere and just ride it out. That's the only hope they have to get points out of this game is Keenan staying out of sight. United, you said it. They've decided the high side is where they want to be. And how often do you get harassed from this position coming out of Camp Alpha?
All the time.
All the time.
All
but
the time.
Sharu doesn't have any optics. We were talking about this in the early game, the attachments question. As Sharu just maybe opting for the red dot. I can't imagine he's doing this intentionally.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They just wanted to get here really fast, and that meant a couple of their players were down on optics, down on attachments. But position is king. They already beat Sonics out. Already got a couple of kills there.
Making lots of noise, puffing himself up nice and big, making sure no one wants to come up this hill as he's just praying. He's got the ammo to test this out, but the hollow sight QBU just doesn't quite feel like it's going to be adequate enough to get Player One Esports out of their vehicle.
Don't worry, guys. I totally have the optics for this. I'm just missing.
That's my strategy.
Yeah.
I miss all my shots to make people feel like they can come up and attack me.
Where's the next circle going to go, though? I can imagine going to swing south with a lot of water. It's definitely reduced the water in play, but there's still a fair bit.
A lot of land came out, too, considering how much water is involved.
Yeah. That eastern side, though, that small section peninsula of the eastern island is a little bit in play. I don't know how strong of a position it's going to maintain. We see player one still in the truck, rotating around, actually right south of Wildcard.
This is now, I'm wondering, the high ground is a big boost, but Endemic is dead center, tons of cover, and Wildcard is going to inch over towards Hot Tin as well. And that's the question now. Does Wildcard, they can just hold on to this compound, and just as long as they can defend it, don't get any easy downs, any easy kills on their team, they should be able to ride this next couple of these next few circles out, Cam, pretty easily.
Yeah, you already see a couple of their players on the rooftop of that compound as well. It gives them the higher ground advantage compared to just staying inside. And so they're in a good position to perform well this game. We saw Ghost deep in the blue themselves, having to rotate all the way from the southeast, the worst position to rotate into this circle from. And they're not the only ones rotating in the blue, but right now, Tempo Storm, we saw them arrive a couple of minutes earlier, and they're now further from center than they were, and trying to traverse this sort of open ground area on the east side of the Northwest Island Mountain is not the easiest thing to do.
Lazarus firing across. Genesis is just south of Lazarus. They can hear those shots going off. Tempo Storm, they're just kind of hanging out. They don't really have too many options right now. They're holding on to hard cover. And on Sanhok, that's the best thing you can have is just protection from the elements and whoever might be crawling around out there. Very snaky out here on Sanhok. As a bit of a lull in the action as most of the southern teams, SSG, Ghost, Low-Key, and Zenith, still have not made their way out of the blue. And the Rumblers, they're going to be opting for the main island, and that's going to leave them in a position, Cam, to have to potentially cross that river after this next shift. Yeah,
I'm looking at this fight between Lazarus and Envy right now, and it's a little bit... Envy, it's risky for them because even if they get a knock onto Lazarus, there's really not much they can do about it. That river is way too wide to cross in the time that it takes for a revive to happen. And so ultimately, it's just a fruitless game of attrition between the two of those squads. And Lazarus, I mean, both those squads have struggled a bit in phase 2, but neither of them have any players that I'd say were duds on the aim. But it's actually going to be Ghost on foot now, still in the blue, crawling up behind SSG. I don't know if this is a conscious decision to leave the vehicles behind so they can have a quiet travel in.
It's just not an easy path for Ghost. They have rivers to cross. They're furthest from the first zone. They're using all their meds. They have lots to use, but
how long will it last?
well,
question.
I mean, it's more so what do they do when they get to the zone? They've got United there. There's just that southern side is just completely blockaded by teams.
If they spot SSG, though, this could be a good pickup of points and a good, I guess, opening of space for them. But I think SSG may be just too far ahead. McCoy, though, he's crouch walking ahead. This gives me the impression that they know that SSG are there. If they can get the first knock, it could be powerful.
They
but
can't
SSG, they're behind a ridge on the other side of the river.
They can't start that fight there, Cam, I don't think, on the south side of that river.
If they get a knock, it could turn into something. But yeah, it's looking like they just want to look for information right now and then cross behind. And then once they're across the river, then perhaps go for the shots, go for the engagement.
I don't think they saw SSG. Maybe they did, but McCoy was looking around without really focusing on anyone on that team. So they might be unaware SSG is ahead, and we are going to be headed towards the southeast of Ha Tin, centered right around that that hillside that we saw the same circle yesterday.
NV pushing it on Rumblers right now.
This is on the main island, and NV's decided they want to take the fight right to them. And this is Ghost. They did get a line onto SSG. They were unaware, but now they are aware as J-Sank wiped out very quickly. And this is going to be NV getting picked apart by both Rumblers and Lazarus helping in the back line.
It's a good wrap by Ghost as well to not run directly into SSG. They got one kill and they got another down, I believe, that I think got revived, or perhaps SSG are now down to 2. But they're not running directly into them as well because they're trying to just use guerrilla tactics in this engagement. And yeah, SSG are down to 2. It's just Baja and Valley 8 left.
Baja is planted in the blue looking for information, and Tempo Storm is shooting at Valley 8, who's kind of stuck in this weird position on this hillside with only a little bit of tree cover to use, and Baja's nowhere to help. And SSG, if they're not careful, could find their way out of this first Sanhok game very quickly. Yeah,
and actually the shots from Ghost were also bad for SSG just because it let a lot of people know that there was an engagement in this area. We see Low-Key wrapping directly towards SSG. You can see Tempo Storm just there looking towards SSG's position as well. And Ghost are doing a good job staying on the low side so they can stay out of sight and just hope that SSG are torn apart by everyone else. Chubbo, though, is dropped by Baja and finished. So that's at least 1 point for SSG.
Any points SSG can get in this monstrous southern side is going to be a boost.
They got to get something.
Yeah, and there's 2 points there as Low-Key not in a position to help or attack Baja, as edge play now starting to be a big factor, as that hillside in dead center is unplayable at this stage of the game.
A lot of engagements happening around the map right now. Slowly starting. Still 55 alive, but Drassel's actually down by Sharky. That's not a very big rock to try and hide behind. And if Baja comes over the ridge, he could find a couple of kills ready for him, but Valley does go down to the grenade by Stab.
It's just Baja now. He's running low on meds, and looks like it's been Genesis. Been losing player after player. It's K-Mind, and I didn't see who the other one was. I think it's Nerf. Nerf and K-Mind, last 2 standing. They're trying to inch toward Lazarus's compound, and the Civil's in a great position to kind of protect with that bridge in the background.
I like this by Lazarus. They didn't stay on to the compound, similar to the end of last game, but look, Baja's actually come across Ghost. A huge spray down by him, getting 2 kills.
Nice, and now Baja has got up to 4 points, 3 kills in the kit, as Drassel and McCoy. And Ghost just did not have a good start to this game, and I don't think it's going to be a nice finish for them unless they can make a miracle happen. They did get up to the rock cover, and it will be Genesis going out first. Lazarus just had them completely pinned, and nowhere to move for Genesis. And now Drassel finds Taylor J. Ghost is going to start yet another engagement. Baja can't find his way into the zone. He's just looking for maybe any more kills, but now this blue zone is really going to start to hurt, and we are going again south of Ha Tin, just to the west, and that hillside cam, a big, big factor.
United Stab, perhaps about to peek over and spot Drassel. Drassel doesn't want to commit to the med just yet.
I don't think Stab could peek over without either falling to his death or having his head blown off.
Could be close either way.
Easier to aim down than up, I think. So Drassel and McCoy just using the rock face as cover. Waldo will go down unforced to the zone as Rumblers and Envy still battling in the blue. And Cherry is going to finish off Waldo, deny any potential kill stealing. Well, blue kill stealing. And unforced, the Rumbler is going slowly down, as you can see the chunks of that blue damage.
Yeah, it's not pretty. This back and forth between Rumblers and Envy with a little bit of assistance from Lazarus, and I'm assuming Endemic from the inside has not been helpful to either of the squads. That engagement needed to go quick, and Moody does the same thing onto Pride, making sure that no one can take that kill that was dropped by the blue. It's a good control of points, try and keep the points where you can going towards your opponent.
I think Rumblers could just die to the zone here.
They might here. They might have to. Crossing that bridge is going to be dangerous. It's only Moody on the inside, but then past him, it's Cherry Poppins, nice turnaround.
And he goes down to the blue. So that's going to be at least 1 point for the Rumblers. As Micro, even that vault is going to kill him. Yeah, the vault's going to kill him.
There's nothing inside.
So nothing to do as Rumblers go down to the zone. As wow, that's that, I guess.
That just shows how dangerous it is to be on the wrong side of the river when it goes to one of the mini islands. Over here, though, Riot Squad, we saw them in this exact position last time around up against Ghost, and this time it's going to be Vanquish. Leda hiding in a corner on the inside of the camp while the rest of his teammates are on the outside, keeping Vanquish pinned inside the edge of the circle.
BZ just unleashing with that QBZ at distance. QB guns, big factor. Lampalot letting loose with the QBU. And the quick down onto Kendo, looking for the flush. There it is. Kendo can't get away. And now this is where things get really dicey as there's just nowhere to go. Teams forced into each other. Patron all the way behind Player One Esports, but VZ has spotted him. Patron wants this flank. He's going to go up and kiss David if he gets any closer. And the quick turn, and Aguila will take him down.
That was close. That actually looked very dangerous for Player One, but they still have 4 up if they can get the revive onto D-Cheats. You can see him sitting on a smoke right now, and it's actually just Roth still standing for Zenith. Player One that had a little bit of tricky position, but later he does pounce, he gets down on Tetra, throws the nade out to try and finish it, but he has to back away because the blue is pushing in onto him. Forced to vault over.
And look at that, just south and west of Hot 10, and that hillside, a big factor. The kill feed is just absolutely lighting up as Vanquish is only Finna left. He's going for the res. He's going to stick it, and it's going to cost him. Vanquish down 13th place. Everyone gets a piece of that pie. Lazarus and Tempo Storm have been going at it as well. And just like that, it's actually Riot Squad picking up 4 kills and relatively even kill distribution so far, Cam.
Yeah, it's a good hold by them, 4 kills at the start, and that's generally what you want to look for as your initial average on the game. 4 points, and see if they can't get any more. And it's going to be difficult for them from here on out because they are going to have to climb up the hill. But Drassel now also having to look ever upwards as Stab is still controlling the high ground above them. E United still with a very, very strong position. They're quite spread out. And so if a down does happen against them, it's possible that there may no be trade available. But again, the high ground is so hard to engage that if they don't overpeak onto you. Player One crossing up to try and come around the north side, walking past Roth from Zenith, lying in wait.
This is how you play in pubs too. You stick together. You don't want to get too much distance. Someone might wind up between you, and this time it's Roth as Player One Esports moves as a squad. Nice tight formation along the base of the rocks. There goes Tempo. It's going to be Endemic finishing them off, and Roth is now going to look to spring the trap. Patron tried it before, and now Player One Esports wide in the open. The spray comes out, and D-Treats, he gets him down, but Roth is wide open, and a quick trade as Player One Esports will stay 4 strong.
I don't think Roth expected Player One to turn around, but it was wildcard there just on the inside of the circle that forced Player One to loop back and really upset Roth's plan. Protege, though, from Riot Squad running in. Shrew doesn't spot him. He actually spots him in return, gets a couple of good, a little bit of damage, not a lot, but it gives him the opportunity to push it. If Balefrost doesn't finish him down.
Looks like Bale is going to struggle to get that finished off, but we did see Sonics go down, and there's a lot of land available in the circle, but the playable area is very, very small.
And how do you get up there? There's maybe 2 ramps to get into the top side of this circle that E United are holding. Mystery in the middle of a fight. That's Player One going to be down with help from the blue. VZ, no time to revive, just has to run in. The blue is doing too much damage at this time. Plus, E United ready to third party this, ready to punish this engagement.
Looks like the circle has shifted again to the south and just to the west of Hot 10. I almost got it, Cam. Almost bang on. Almost nailed it that time. But south of Hot 10 is where this game is going to unfold. Drassel in a pocket of hurt as he's got literally nowhere to go. Hope he's cozy, brought a blanket, maybe a book to read as Ghost is going to spend the rest of this phase just counting the time. As we've seen this little channel play a big factor, Cam. Endemic has tried this before. They got completely dominated by Genesis. Well, not completely dominated. They lost to Genesis last time they were here. Let's see if Lazarus can have the same success.
Well, this time around, this Valley of Death is basically in the center of the circle, so Endemic are holding a really strong position that they don't need to leave quite soon. Lazarus, though, still up. Well, there are 3 of them up. Pretty Curdy is getting revived. Yeah, no, so they do stay 4 up. It's just Alo and Uncivil trying to make sure that Endemic don't go aggressive on them, just barely dodging these nades. But this being, it's on the low ground, but it's a valley that has cover on top of it. So it's difficult for any squad to really third party this, which means that Endemic and Lazarus can focus 100% on each other.
Just have to wait. It's this corner battle, and Rello's been kind of poking out to see if he can get an angle, but you can get punished here, and really it goes both ways. Whoever gets more aggressive and shows more of the body first. Uncivil has got that left-hand peek, which for those of you who don't know, is not as efficient as the right-hand peek. You show more of your body for less vision, and for Civ, you're gonna have to keep that in mind, as now above, it's gonna be Endemic getting it from United, and that is gonna open up the laneway for Lazarus to do something, and they're gonna step up immediately and steal a couple of those kills, as Endemic is wiped out by the combined forces of United and Lazarus.
Definitely a good play by United to get those kills right now. And that's also going to put pressure onto Lazarus. Lazarus can't push forward, or else they're going to open themselves up to those same shots by United. They have the cover on the top side right now that I was talking about, but I don't know how much of that is going to stay in the circle. I don't think it's in the circle at all. And Wildcard, they've been silently staying inside this game. 2 up. I don't know how many kills they have, but look at 7 kills on United's side, just scanning the low ground from their high ground position.
Kickstart, hanging out with Pistola time. And this is going to be high side versus, I think, man, Wildcard's got good zone control, but so much of this rock formation kind of dictates where players can move, as anywhere north of where the rest of the players are sitting is just open field. So now the question is, are we going to have a 10-man final zone as we move now to the completion of phase number 7? And we're going to shift one more time right on top of Pistola, and the 4-man squad of Lazarus doing their sneaky sneaks as they move closer and closer to the center of the zone.
If there was only 1 or 2 players from Lazarus leaving this position, I'd say that Pistola has a huge advantage right now, but it's just going to be a Zerg rush, a flood from Lazarus onto that center part of the circle. But United, I wonder how they're going to get down from here, because they've actually committed to the rocks, but now they've lost any sort of ramp unless they want to run back into the blue, and we've seen how much damage the blue does at this point in time. They may just be forced to drop down and taking a fair bit of damage from gravity.
Stupid gravity.
Silly physics.
Causes so many problems. Shots ring out. There's no line to sight. Yeah. Lazarus is just trying to maybe bait something with these shots, or checking bushes, or just maybe spending some ammo because they're bored.
Here comes the push. Action grenades by Pistola going to try and prepare himself for the push, but
they're close to him.
He comes out. Oh. It's the first drop.
Now they know. Dead man grenade maybe. Just going to get one out into the midst of Lazarus. That could do a lot of damage. It's right by Luke. It's right next to him. It's going to take him down. No half damage. And the quick res coming onto Alo. And United needs to make something happen very quickly. Kickstart. No movement from him, as I think he might have taken some damage if he tried to help. Another smoke coming. Kickstart is going to move off. Just kind of expose just a little bit of the body, see if you can find anything. And there's another nade. That one looks... Oh! Right in the face of Luke and Civ. Perfectly timed. And the molly will follow up. Civ is going to get stolen by Balefrost. And Kickstart's perfectly timed grenade is going to find only 1 kill out of 2.
Taylor dropping down!
Oh my God!
With the nade from the skies, and it's gonna wipe Lazarus out of this game, and Stab finishes off Kickstart. And so it looked like a troublesome position for United. It's still on those rocks. They come swinging down from the heavens and taking game number 3 of the day.
That was very heroic by Taylor J to just send it off the side of the rock outcropping. But ultimately, that was a very slow finish, but very entertaining. As again, poor Lazarus